Gonna change the oil on my 2013 Ford Explorer. When it gets close to time to change, it'll bring up this message saying change engine oil soon. And after that, it'll go oil change required when it's time to change it. So let's get to doing that. Let's go over what's going on when the change engine oil notification comes on. So it says to change it soon when its life is at 10% remaining or less. And then the oil change required is when it hits 0% of life left. And you might be wondering how it actually gets that 10%, or how it knows that it's at 10% or 0%. So let's go look at that. Here it explains that basically the brains of the engine is tracking how you drive it and the amount of wear you put on the engine, so it determines whether or not, it determines when you need to change it. So that's what the car is doing. It's actually determining when you need to change the oil. Alright, time to change the oil on the 2013 Ford Explorer. It's only 107.8 degrees here in the garage. I'm excited. If you're wondering what type of motor oil to use, SAE 5W20 is for this engine. It says here on the oil fill cap. Okay, so here's the capacities in the owner's manual. I know I have a 3.5 liter. There's two different options, and since I looked at the oil fill cap and it says 5W20, then I know I got this one. It's not the EcoBoost, but takes the 6 quarts. Alright, going underneath here. It's fairly simple to notice. Here's your oil filter, and then right back here, and right back there is the oil drain plug. There we go, that's what we need. So here's what I got to do the oil change. 5W20, I got the fully synthetic, and with as cheap as fully synthetic is now, might as well. This was the deal of the day at AutoZone. There's the oil filter that I'm using, and the reason I got 2 is because it takes 6 quarts, so there's 5 quarts, and then I'll use 1 quart of that and then keep it around till the next oil change, and then slowly bleed off that. And let's go ahead and drain it. I got my oil pan ready, and I'm going to be using a 10mm socket for the drain plug. So let's go ahead and remove that. So the car was running before I did this. I let it sit for 2 hours with the fan blowing under it. It still feels pretty hot, so you want to be very careful with this oil. Will not come loose, my goodness. There we go. My goodness. I had that on there tight. Alright, now you gotta be careful with this hot oil getting on you. Just to have a little more protection, got some gloves on. Here we go. Something that might help it drain faster is to remove the oil fill cap there. That might allow it to not collect a vacuum inside there when it's draining. But I don't know if that will actually help or not. It might. While it's draining, I like to go ahead and clean up the oil drain plug. Just wipe off all the excess oil on it. Just make sure it looks good. Make sure the seal looks good. Give it a good look over. Everything looks pretty good. So once it's done draining, we'll put this back in. Now it's down to a drip. I like to go ahead and wipe off that surface that this bolt is going to be sealing on, so just wipe off the surface there before putting the bolt back on. And then there you go. And it should not be rough or tight going in. Should be able to get it all the way down to the sealing surface without any tough patches. If there is, then you might be cross-threading it and you need to back it off and try again. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten up my bolt. Alright, let's get this. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to put the glove on so the oil doesn't get on my hands because it's still hot. You can see it's dripping out already. Which kind of sucks. Okay. I'm going to let that drain now for a while before I take it the rest of the way off. Okay, it's stopped flowing. I got some rubber gloves on just to keep the oil off me. Alright. It's out. So now I got a rag here. I'm just going to wipe off the sealing area of that oil filter ring there. So this part where the seal goes around, I just want to make sure it's clean. I want to make sure that the old oil filter seal is not on it, and it looks good. So go ahead and put the new oil filter in. So this is the first time I've ever seen a oil filter with a plastic seal on it, but that's kind of cool. I like it. Now let's go ahead and put some of the fresh oil into it from the oil that we're going to put in the engine. Fill up about 3/4 of the way, and then I take some of this fresh engine oil and put it around onto the seal. That'll help make sure it doesn't leak. Alright, I think it's ready to go back in. Alright, pretty straightforward here. Just gonna screw the new oil filter in by hand and get it as hand tight as I possibly can. And this also should not have any issues screwing on. It should go on pretty smoothly until it gets up to the seal, and then just tighten it as tight as you can by hand. Oh, yeah, that's on there. And just take a good look up there, make sure it looks like it's up all the way onto the seal. And it looks good. Let's fill her up. Alright, I'm going to use a funnel. Make sure it doesn't have any lint or dust in it. Alright. So since capacity says it takes 6 quarts, I'm going to go ahead and put 5 3/4. It's a little hard to do, but we'll figure it out. As far as the second 5-quart container, I got it all the way down to there that I poured in, as you can see, and that's how far how much of that I put in. Alright, with the engine running, we're going to go ahead and see if there's any leaks around the oil filter. Looks good. And then the oil drain plug. Alright, looks really good. Now I want to check the oil level, make sure it's good. Always wipe off the first bit of oil that comes out. And then alright, it looks good. It's all the way up to a little over halfway between the 2 dots. It's almost to the top of the etched part, so I'd say we're good. Alright, let's try to figure out how to get this oil change required to clear. Hitting OK. Alright, going left. Going down to settings. Go to convenience. And go down to oil life reset. And hold OK. Setting complete. Let's see if that did it. I'm going to shut the power off and back on, and let's see if it goes away. Alright, everything is off. Let's turn it back on now. Hey, look at that. No oil change required message. Fantastic, and thanks for watching.